Welcome back to the King's Queen, where I teach you how to master your hustle. Today, guys, we are switching gears. We're going into a whole different kind of subject today. Usually I'm talking about art and generating prompts and PNG files and things of that nature. But today, I am going to be talking about one of my other passions. And if you rewind a couple years back, I told you all that I was a writer. I have been writing since I was second grade. I know I started writing little stories, and then in the 6th grade, my teacher told me that I was pretty good at writing stories, and one of my love languages is words of affirmation. And once you tell me I'm good at something, I'm going to run with it. My little heart was full, so I went full speed into just writing and writing and writing. And in 2014, I started self-publishing books. Now, I don't write full-length novels. I have one full-length novel, and the rest are a bunch of short stories. And I did pretty good with that starting in 2014 on up to now. They are still on Amazon. But with all that being said, writing is cathartic for me, and it is a good way to make a passive income. But some people are not into writing, or they don't have the motivation, or they need a little help. So I was sitting and thinking, what could I do with ChatGPT to assist someone who wants to be a writer? And then another thought in my head said, well, people say that AI is like cheating. You're not a writer if you have to use AI. And to that I say, wow, because I have seen so many authors in the writing profession who use ghostwriters. So are you not a writer because you get someone else to write your book for you and you put your name on it? Please tell me what the difference is in that. Please tell me. I will wait. Please tell me what the difference is when someone else does your writing. You slap your name on it and sell it as if you did all the writing when you know full well that you did not. So with that, I created the InstaLove Ghost Writer. And this is specifically for what it says, InstaLove stories. These feel-good stories, they're really short. I think I have it set to create 7 chapters, full-length chapters. Now, ChatGPT, people are right. You cannot tell ChatGPT to write you a story and it be fluid and flow all the way through. If you do, you're going to be disappointed. ChatGPT is like a child, and you have to go step by step, teaching it minute by minute what to do. Everything that you do with ChatGPT is not cheating the system. People that don't know how much prompting goes into ChatGPT should really be quiet, because there's a lot that goes into prompting. So it's pretty much like you're writing it yourself, even though you're not. And I'm going to show you what I mean when I delve into this GPT that I have created. And I'm really proud of myself with this one. But I could go on and on about the battle between using AI to write. Now, I'm not saying that when you create these stories to just create it and it be done, but I'm saying that what you get with this GPT is going to give you a great story that could probably stand by itself. But, and I do say but loudly, you need to go through the story and add some of yourself to the story. You become the editor. Let this GPT be your writer. You be the editor. Add some stuff, take away some stuff, put your voice into the story once the story is created. I am not saying let ChatGPT do all the work. But let's get into this GPT, the InstaLove Ghost Writer. I'm going to simply let this GPT speak for itself, and I'm going to ask it, what does this GPT do? And here we go. We have it writing out exactly what it was programmed to do. And once it's finished, I'm going to let you hear what it says with its own words. Okay, this is what ChatGPT says it can do for you.
This GPT InstaLove Ghost Writer is designed to help you create unique and compelling InstaLove urban romance stories, specifically tailored for African American women readers. It works by guiding you step by step through the story creation process, from brainstorming themes and characters to crafting a complete romance story. Here's what it does. 1. Customizable themes and tropes. It helps you choose or brainstorm themes and romance tropes like second chance love, enemies to lovers, fake dating, or opposites attract, all with an InstaLove, instant attraction and connection, twist. 2. Character creation. It lets you decide who your 2 main characters will be or can generate random characters for you. You can also include secondary characters to enrich the story. 3. Story ideas. It provides 3 different story concepts based on your selected characters and themes, so you can choose one to develop further. 4. Seasonal or trendy settings. If you want, it can set the story during a specific time of year, like Christmas, Valentine's Day, or summer, or align it with current trends to make the story more engaging. 5. Structured storytelling. It builds a detailed outline for a 7-chapter InstaLove story, including an epilogue, following a clear structure. Chapter 1. Characters meet. Chapter 2 to 3, they like each other. Chapter 4, they share their first kiss. Chapter 5, they share an intimate connection. Chapter 6, a misunderstanding occurs but is resolved with a grand romantic gesture. Chapter 7, they confess their love, resolve all issues, and share a final intimate moment. Epilogue, reveals what happens to the couple 2 years later. 6. Writing the story. After creating the outline and chapter-by-chapter story beats, it writes the full story in first-person POV, alternating between the voices of the 2 main characters, or a secondary character if needed. 7. Interactive process. At every stage, you get to approve or make changes. This includes the outline, story beats, and chapter drafts. 8. Flexible word count. After each chapter, you'll get the word count and can ask for it to be extended or shortened. 9. Pleasurable reading experience. It ensures the story flows naturally with engaging dialogue, chemistry between the leads, and no repetitive endings. It also wraps up all loose ends with a satisfying happy ending. In short, this GPT works as your personal ghostwriter to craft a complete, high-quality romance novel tailored to your preferences. Would you like to start creating your story?
And there you have it. That is exactly what my GPT can do for the writer in you. So I'm going to get started. I'm not going to go all the way through to complete a complete story, but I am going to show you how to get started with this, and I will probably go until we get to the chapter outline beats, story beats, and things like that. I'll probably stop there, but let's get started. So it asked me would I like to start creating a story, so I'm going to say yes, I'm ready. And you have full control. I do have it programmed to create African American characters, but you can tell it whatever you want. That's just a default. Okay. So it says, let's get started crafting the perfect InstaLove romance. First, let's focus on the themes and tropes. What themes or tropes would you like to include in your story? So do we want opposites attract, enemies to lovers, fake dating, second chance love, things like that. So I'm going to pick my favorite, opposites attract, or enemies to lovers is really my favorite, but I'm going to go with opposites attract. And I'm going to click enter. And you could mix and match these things. Okay, next. It's asking It's asking who are your main characters. Now you can tell what type of people you want in this story, or you can roll the dice and let my GPT do it for you. So it says create them yourself, give a name, a background, and tell about their personality, or let me create 2 random characters for you based on the opposites attract trope. So I'm just going to say create 2 random characters. I'm going to see what they come up with. Create randomly. Okay. So I'm gonna let it read this itself. But it gives a full background, a lot of personality, names and ages. So I'm going to let you hear how detailed it goes into creating these people. And once you hear it, if you don't like something that they said, you can tell them to take it out, or if you want to add something else, you can do that. But let's see what exactly it says about our characters.
All right, let's create 2 dynamic characters who are total opposites, but destined to fall head over heels for each other. Here's what I came up with. Main character 1, Zara Bennett. Age, 29. Personality, outgoing, bold, and creative. Zara is a free-spirited mural artist who thrives on color and chaos. She's known for her wild curls, radiant smile, and quirky fashion sense. Think combat boots paired with a bright sundress. Zara marches to the beat of her own drum and avoids rules at all costs. Background. Grew up in Chicago with a single mom who taught her resilience and independence. Zara owns a small art studio in the city where she paints and teaches kids art classes. She's passionate about leaving her mark on the world, but struggles with the idea of settling down. Opposite traits. Zara is impulsive, lives moment to moment, and believes that life is meant to be messy and unpredictable. Main character 2, Bryce Hamilton. Age, 32. Personality, reserved, focused, and ambitious. Bryce is a corporate attorney with a reputation for being sharp and serious. He's buttoned up in tailored suits, with perfectly styled hair and an equally polished attitude. Bryce is methodical and calculated, always with a plan in place. Background. From a wealthy family in Atlanta, Bryce was raised with high expectations and followed a path of structure and discipline. He recently moved to Chicago to become a partner at a prestigious law firm. Though outwardly successful, he sometimes feels like he's missing something in his well-ordered life. Opposite traits. Bryce is logical, thrives on structure, and avoids spontaneity like the plague. What do you think of Zara and Bryce? Let me know if you'd like to tweak them or add anything. Otherwise, we'll move on to the next step.
Okay, after listening to that, I'm going to change something. I would like her to be a art teacher for a high school, and he is the principal. Now let's see what we get out of that. Okay, I'm going to read myself what it says right here. Jade grew up in the same community she now teaches in and feels deeply connected to its struggles and triumphs. She's single, but it's not a priority for her. She believes in love, but hasn't had time to focus on it. Besides, men tend to underestimate her ambitions or think she's too much. Up here on her flaws, it says sometimes she lets her emotions get the better of her and has a tendency to bristle against rules she thinks are arbitrary. She has a bit of reputation for bending the school's dress code or using unapproved teaching methods. Jade is passionate, empathetic, and free-spirited. As a high school art teacher in a predominantly underserved Atlanta neighborhood, she sees art as a way to connect with her students and inspire them to dream big. She's warm and approachable, but she's not afraid to challenge authority if it's for the good of her kids. And for our guy, let's see. He's the type of principal who commands attention the moment he walks into the room. He's disciplined, focused, and he's very by the book. He's the principal of the high school where Jade works. He's determined to turn the school's performance around. He is no nonsense, and he believes in rules, structure, and measurable outcomes. He has trouble loosening up and views passion-driven people like Jade as idealists who don't understand the practicalities of running a school. He's also guarded. He grew up in Chicago in a rough neighborhood and was determined to rise above his circumstances. He put himself through college and worked as a teacher before becoming a principal. He moved to Atlanta for this job, seeing it as a chance to prove himself and leave a legacy. So there we go. We turned it from what it was, what they said, to I gave it my own idea. I want this to be in a school setting. So we got the principal and the quirky art teacher. Would you like to create a few? Hold on. Let's move on to the secondary characters. Move on. Okay, and it's going to ask us to, it's going to give us some secondary characters. Usually it asks about the secondary characters if you would like to give your own character descriptions and things like this, but it went on and did it for us. Now, if like before, you could make changes, but they gave us Jade's best friend, who's 31. She's bold and sassy. She's Jade's sounding board for when she's unsure. Then we have Darius's younger brother, Caleb. He's a charming kid. He pushes Darius to admit his feelings for Jade. And then we have a talented student called Taylor. Taylor is going to create the meaningful connection between Jade and Darius. While Jade fights for Taylor's creativity, Darius sees her as someone who could thrive academically with the right structure. So those are the secondary characters that it gave us. Now, if we want to make changes or we wanted to add some more, we could, or we can leave it the way it is. And for the sake of the video not being too long, I'm just going to let it roll with those characters. They sound pretty good to me. Now, I did not read everything, but you get the gist of what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm going to say they are great. Let's move on. Okay, now we're going to get into the story idea. If you have a deeper idea of where you want this story to go, feel free to tell this GPT your story idea, but it's going to give you, I believe I have it set to give 3 story ideas. Yes, there's 3 of them. So I'm going to read one right here. This one is Painted Hearts. When Jade Morrison's bold, rule-breaking teaching style starts earning her both admiration and criticism at her high school, Principal Darius Reed feels compelled to step in. His no-nonsense leadership clashes with her fiery passion for art, especially when Jade decides to spearhead an unapproved mural project on school grounds. Darius sees her as a distraction, but Jade sees him as the exact type of rigid authority figure she can't stand. But when they both get pulled into helping Taylor Robinson, a struggling student, they realize they might have more in common than they thought. As the walls between them crumble, sparks fly. But can their connection survive when school politics threaten to pit them against each other? Next, we have Rules and Rebels, and the third one is Canvas of Love. So I'm going to read the second one. I'm not going to read all three, though. Okay, the second idea is, after a heated staff meeting when Jade publicly calls out Darius's strict disciplinary policies, she finds herself on the principal's radar. Darius doesn't appreciate being challenged, especially by someone so unapologetically defiant. But when a series of school board inspections threatens Jade's beloved art program, the two are forced to work together to save it. As they spend late nights planning fundraisers and negotiating with the school board, Jade discovers there's more to Darius than his tailored suits and stern demeanor. And Darius realizes that Jade's chaotic charm, just might be what he's missing in his overly structured life. But when a misunderstanding causes their budding romance to implode, can they repair the damage before it's too late? So that is story number 2. Now, out of those two, I kind of like the first one better. So I'm going to go with story idea 1. I like story idea 1. And if you have anything you would like to add, this is where you would do it. Like if you would like to say, I would like, what do I want to add to that? It's about them getting together to help Taylor. So I would like Taylor to have I'm gonna have an alcoholic parent. Well, no, that would fit better in a drama, not a romance. I'm not gonna go that dark. I would like Taylor to have a mother who is out of work and struggling. That's dark too, but oh God, I like drama. I'm sorry, I do. You can add drama with romance. Everything's gonna work out. Okay, her mother who's out of work and struggling to get a job. And I'm gonna say that Jade offers to bring her in as her teacher's aide. All right, let's see how that's going to work into the story. Okay, this is, and they're going to give it to us updated. Fantastic choice. I love that addition. It will give the story even more emotional depth and an opportunity for Jade to show her nurturing side, while also giving Darius another reason to admire her. Plus, it ties Taylor's struggles into the main storyline beautifully. Let me adjust story idea number 1 to include this new element. So I'm going to read it again now that it's updated. When Jade Morrison's bold, rule-breaking teaching style starts earning her both admiration and criticism at her high school, Principal Darius Reed feels compelled to step in. His no-nonsense leadership clashes with her fiery passion for art, especially when Jade threatens to spearhead an unapproved mural project on school grounds. Darius sees her as a distraction, but Jade sees him as the exact type of rigid authority figure that she can't stand. But their differences are tested when they both get pulled into the life of Taylor Robinson, a talented but shy art student with a difficult home life. Taylor's mother, April, is out of work and struggling to make ends meet, and Jade, seeing an opportunity to help the family, convinces Darius to let April join the school as her teacher's aide. As Jade and Darius work together to support Taylor and her mother, their professional clashes turn personal, and the chemistry that they have been denying becomes impossible to ignore. But when school politics threaten the mural project and Taylor's future, will their building connection be strong enough to survive? Now, I like that. that I added my own little twist in there. I feel like I was a part of this. I'm not letting ChatGPT do everything. I'm involved. Okay, how does this sound? If you're happy with the updated concept, I'll create a 7-chapter outline so we can get the story structure laid out. Okay. Create the outline. Okay, it's going to create an outline for us now. Like I said, 7 chapters. And these chapters are going to be long, full of dialogue, very descriptive. It's some good stuff. I'm not tooting my own horn, but I'm tooting my own horn. Okay, this is just the outline of each chapter. And then after the story is over, we have an epilogue that's going to tell us what's happening 2 years later. So I'm going to read what they say is going to happen in chapter 1, and then we're going to move on. Chapter 1, and it's going to be in the point of view of Jade. And what I like to do is write these stories in first person, coming from one character, and then the next chapter coming from the point of view of another character. That's the way I like to read InstaLove, short stories, a lot of different stories. I like for them to be written in that style. So that's how I set this up. So the point of view of Jade says, Jade clashes with Principal Davis Reed during a fiery staff meeting about the school policy. She's passionately defending her plans for the mural project designed to bring to the school. Darius shuts her down, citing rules and budget constraints. Their initial meeting is full of tension, with neither willing to back down. Later, Jade notices Taylor Robinson, her shy but talented art student, staying late after class. When Taylor opens up about her struggling single mother, April, Jade begins to brainstorm ways to help. Let's read chapter 2. And it's coming from Darius's point of view. Darius deals with the challenges of running an underfunded high school, including pressure from the school board to improve performance metrics. He notices Jade's popularity with the students and grudgingly admits she's effective, even if her methods are chaotic. Meanwhile, Jade proposes hiring April as a teacher's aide to give her a steady job. Darius is skeptical at first, but after meeting April and seeing her genuine determination, he reluctantly agrees. He starts seeing a more compassionate side to Jade, though he's still wary of her rule breaking. And from then we got the mural, and we got someone's going to be very vulnerable, and then they're going to kiss, and then we're going to have some obstacles, and then we're going to have the resolution for our final chapter, and then the epilogue. I'm going to read the epilogue, so we're going to get the end of the story already. And it's going to be coming from Jade and Darius. The mural has become a local landmark, and the school has flourished under Darius's leadership and Jade's creative influence. Taylor is now attending college on a full scholarship for art, and April has become a permanent staff member at the school. Jade and Darius are happily married, expecting their first child, and they reflect on how their love story was painted against the backdrop of the mural that brought them together. All right. What do you think of this outline? Would you like to make any changes, or should we move on to writing the chapter by chapter story beats? Okay, let's continue. These are just the story beats. This is not the chapter either. This is like it's telling you each thing that is going to happen in the chapter without filling in all of the dialogue and the descriptive nature and the settings and all of that. It's giving you the meat and potatoes without giving you the side salad. And I love that it does that. When you could take these story beats and you can create the story yourself if you want to stop there. but I have it set to write the entire story, so that we're going to follow through with this. And after this part, I'm not going to do the entire story, but I think you all can see how good this thing really is. Okay, story beats for Painted Hearts, Chapter 1. Sparks in the staff meeting. Opening scene, Jade passionately argues in a staff meeting for more creative freedom in the classroom, clashing with Davis's insistence on structure and discipline. The debate is heated, with Jade accusing him of stifling student creativity and Darius calling her out for undermining protocol. The key moment in this chapter is going to be she's going to storm out of the meeting and go back to her class, where she notices Taylor lingering. Taylor's just there, and she tells her about her mom. And the ending hook to this story, that Jade's going to be moved by Taylor, and she's going to try to find a way for her mom to get a job, knowing that Darius is not going to go for it. Then it's going to go into Chapter 2. I like how it gives you the opening scene and important moments and the hook that's going to be at the end, kind of like the cliffhanger. Sometimes the cliffhanger's really intense. Sometimes it's not. It's just something to keep you wanting to read more, wondering what's going to happen in the next chapter. We want these stories to be engaging. I want our readers to be hooked, glued to the pages, just wanting to know more. So I made sure that in the back of this GPT, I told it I want our audience to be in this story. I want them to feel like they know these people, that they are rooting for the characters, that they love the characters. So okay, we're going to go down here to the end and see, what do you think of these story beats? Would you like to make any changes or adjustments, and this is where we're going to get started now. Like it says, if you want to make any changes, you tell it what chapter and what you would like to change. Okay, guys, I am back. I got interrupted. I have no idea what part I was on this. I got a phone call from the kids' school, but everything is okay. So let me see what we are on and see what we're gonna do. I think I was talking about this would be the time where you would make changes. Just simply go to what you want to change. Like if you want to change something in Chapter 7, if you want the key moment to be something different, or the resolution, that's where you tell it. And you can tell it each one, and it will rewrite it for you. But we are going to say, this is fine. Let's create Chapter 1. All right, here comes Chapter 1. And when I say it's full of dialogue, it's full of dialogue. It's not what you get when you tell ChatGPT, okay, write me a romance story about a teacher who falls in love with her hard-ass principal. The principal that she doesn't like, but she eventually falls in love with him. If you tell it to do that, it's going to give you a story that by the end of that story, you're going to be confused, wondering what are they talking about. It's not going to be consistent. It's going to end up, they could end up in space, flying to the moon. I'm serious. If you tell it to write you a story, it's not going to be what you want. So going beat by beat, brick by brick, is what you want to do with this. Okay, the word count for this story is 1,165 words. Would you like to go on to Chapter 2? Okay, first I'm going to let it read this story this chapter. And then I'm going to tell it I want it to be longer and see what it does. So I'm going to let you all listen to it. And if you're wondering what I'm doing, I have this on my phone as well, and I'm just playing the playback from my phone. So let's listen to chapter 1.
Chapter 1 of Painted Hearts. Let me know how you feel about it when it's done. If you'd like to adjust anything or extend the chapter, just let me know. Sparks in the staff meeting. I could feel my blood pressure rising as Principal Darius Reed adjusted his tie, his deep baritone slicing through the room like a cold blade. While I appreciate your enthusiasm, Miss Morrison, he said, his sharp gaze sweeping over me, the school board is clear. Extracurricular projects, especially ones that involve repainting school property, require prior approval and funding. The fluorescent lights of the staff lounge made his already polished suit look even sharper, and I hated that I noticed. His posture was so upright it was almost obnoxious, like the universe had designed him to personally remind me of every stuffy authority figure I'd ever clashed with. I folded my arms, determined not to let him intimidate me. With all due respect, Mr. Reed, the mural isn't just a project. It's a chance to give these kids something to be proud of. Most of them have never had anyone invest in them like this. If we wait for approval, we'll lose that momentum and their trust. The room was silent, the other teachers shifting awkwardly in their seats. This was supposed to be a routine staff meeting, but leave it to me to turn it into a showdown. He raised an eyebrow, his expression unreadable. This isn't about momentum. It's about following protocol and ensuring resources are allocated responsibly. The school board won't approve something they haven't even seen a proposal for. I leaned forward, unable to keep the heat out of my voice. What they'll approve are standardized test scores and rigid curriculums that crush creativity. That's not what these kids need, and you know it. A muscle in his jaw tightened, and for a split second, I thought I saw something flicker in his eyes. Annoyance. Sure, but maybe also understanding? If it was there, it was gone before I could confirm. Miss Morrison, he said, his tone clipped. You're out of line. Out of line? Oh, now I was fuming. No, what's out of line is ignoring the fact that this school is full of talented students who don't see themselves reflected in their environment. A mural isn't just paint on a wall. It's a way to show them they matter. I heard a few murmurs of agreement from the other teachers, which gave me just enough courage to hold his gaze. Darius sighed, pinching the bridge of his nose like he was already exhausted by me. This discussion is over for now, he said firmly, his voice like the final slamming of a door. Let's move on to the next agenda item. I wanted to scream, but instead, I bit the inside of my cheek and sat back in my chair, glaring at the untouched coffee in front of me. Fine. Let him play dictator for now. I wasn't about to back down, especially not when I knew how much the mural could mean to the kids. An hour later, I was back in my classroom, still replaying the argument in my head. The smell of acrylic paint and chalk pastels helped calm me down, but not by much. My classroom was my sanctuary, the one place where I felt completely in control. Well, as much as one could be with 30 teenagers in one room. Miss Morrison? I looked up to see Taylor Robinson standing hesitantly in the doorway, her oversized hoodie swallowing her small frame. Her wide brown eyes darted nervously around the room, like she was afraid she'd be scolded for staying late. Taylor, hey, I softened my voice, waving her in. What's up? Need help with your project? She shuffled in slowly, solid, her worn sneakers squeaking on the tile floor. No, I wanted to ask you something. I set down the paintbrush I'd been cleaning and gave her my full attention. Taylor was one of those kids who didn't speak much, but when she did, it was worth listening to. Go ahead, I said, smiling encouragingly. She hesitated, wringing her hands. It's my mom. She's been out of work for a while, and things are really hard at home. I was just wondering if... She trailed off, looking down at the floor. My heart squeezed. Taylor was one of the most talented students I'd ever had, but I knew she carried the weight of the world on her small shoulders. Is she looking for work? I asked gently. Taylor nodded. She is, but it's been hard, you know? No one's calling her back, and she's so stressed. I don't know what to do. I stood and walked over to her, placing a hand on her shoulder. Hey, it's okay. We'll figure something out, all right? Tell your mom to come see me tomorrow. I think I might have an idea. Taylor looked up at me, her expression shifting from worry to cautious hope. Really? Really, I said, smiling. We're a team, right? We'll make it work. As she left, her steps a little lighter than when she'd come in, I leaned back against my desk, staring at the half-finished mural sketches my students had started. Darius Reed might think he's running this school, but as far as I was concerned, it belonged to the kids, and I'd do whatever it took to fight for them, even if it meant going toe-to-toe with Mr. Rulebook himself. 1165. What do you think? Would you like me to extend or adjust anything before we move on to Chapter 2?
There we have it. That is Chapter 1. That chapter was full of dialogue. I love the dialogue. It was kind of funny, and I could see the things happening as the narrator was reading it for me. But like I told you, I'm going to tell it to extend the chapter, make the chapter longer, and I just want to see how many more words it's going to give us. Make the chapter longer. And also, it really hasn't given us a description of how these characters look. So I'm going to tell it to be a little more descriptive of how the characters look. Don't focus on their looks. But make it so that the reader can envision the characters. Okay, make the chapter longer. After that, I think we're going to end it. I'm going to see if I can find the description. The fluorescent lights of the staff lounge glared down on us, casting unflattering shadows on everything but him. He stood there like some kind of immovable monument, all tall and broad-shouldered, with skin so smooth and dark it almost seemed to glow under the harsh lights. His charcoal gray suit fit like it had been tailored for this exact moment. Okay. Now we have 1,584 words. 1,165, so it gave us roughly 400 more words. Now that may not be a lot to you, but as a writer, you know that's pretty good. But if you want to extend it even more, you can do that. But I'm going to stop here. All you have to do is keep telling the GPT when you're ready to go to chapter 2, you're ready to go to chapter 3, and so on and so on. Then once you're done, copy and paste these into your document of choice, either if you're using Microsoft Word or you're using Google Docs, and then you are free to edit this how you want, do what you want, play around with it, make the story even more yours, and there you go, you have a book. But once you're done with that, I do suggest that you take your work, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. You're going to take your work just to make sure that you won't get into any trouble. I'm going to copy that part right there, and I'm going to go to Grammarly's plagiarism checker, or you can go to any plagiarism checker that you would like. I use the Grammarly one. And I'm going to paste that section that I just copied, and I'm going to see if it can detect any plagiarism. And sometimes it can. So all you have to do is change some stuff around, because we don't want to get in trouble for being a plagiarist. But if you give this thing enough information that's coming from your head instead of relying on the GPT to do all the work for you, you're going to be fine. But, it only had one writing issue, and that's with the conciseness. There's no plagiarism, nothing wrong with the spelling, the word choice, the grammar, punctuation, readability, or any other issues. There's just one little problem with conciseness. So with that being said, I think this GPT is what you need if writing is for you, but you don't have that intense passion, or you're blocked. You can't write. You want to write, but you I can't think of the word. You know what I mean when you want to write, but you're blocked, like I am right now. But you can't find the words to tell the story. Anybody who's a writer, I'm gonna this is for InstaLove, like I told you, but I'm going to create another one for mystery writing. I want to do one for drama. I want to do one for street fiction. I love street thug life, street lit. I love that. That's my favorite. I love the passion in those books. Is something on another level. But I've also dibble-dabbled in a little erotica, and contrary to what people say, ChatGPT can write erotic scenes. I'm going to do another video and show you exactly what ChatGPT wrote for me. And it's just all in how you tell it to do it. You have to play with these things and coax it and mold it the way you want it to work. I'm telling you, I am telling you, it does more than what you think it can. You just have to work with it. I have proof in some of my writings that it can write erotica. But I hope you all like this video. Let me know down below if you're interested in this GPT. I do not have it out yet. Maybe by the time this video comes out, it will be out. So check the description box. There may be a link for you to purchase the GPT. I'm not sure, but I'm getting that together. I'm still in the back end working some kinks out with the GPT, but for the most part, I like the way it flows. I love the way the stories come out. I love the way that it is flexible for you to fill in what you want to fill in. Tailor the story the way you want to. Tailor the characters the way you want to. I love that it has all of that capability. So, down below, let me know if you're interested. And like I said, if I have it put out, the link will be in the description. And I will probably have the link in the comments as well, just to make sure that you can find it. But with all of that being said, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Once again, I'm going to say Happy New Year. I want you all to be abundant, have everything that you want this year. Set those goals. It's not too late to set those goals. Let's get started making this year great. And all of that being said, be blessed.